oh, I'm a big scary ghost. Or possibly a colonist that was turned into electric. Welcome to your Star Trek Strange New World Season 1 Episode 3 review, which is Ghosts of Illyria. Now, going into this episode, if you watch the trailer, you would have thought it's just a standard, the Enterprise gets a virus story, just like the Naked Now and the Naked Time and the Naked Data and the Naked Tasha Yar have and the Naked Sex. But no, what we've got is an episode of which the crew is down on a planet which was colonized by a population called the Illyrians. Pike and Spock and Una and some other crew members are on the planet, and Una takes the other crew members and beams back because there is an ion storm coming. Spock and Kirk don't manage to make it and have to find refuge inside a building or just away from the ion storm. So Una beams aboard, and very quickly one of them gets a little bit wacky and he's attracted to light. To be honest, if he was here right now, he'd be like this to the camera. He gets taken to sickbay. Una has this reaction. She's sitting in a chair. She suddenly enjoys the light, and then her body glows, and then bang. We're like, oh, what's going on here? Like, it was, I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. She goes back to normal, and she hears about the other crew members coming down with this illness, and immediately she starts trying to work out a way to stop them. Dr. Mbanga is a central role in this episode as well, and he doesn't know what's going on. He just knows that they're attracted to light. Nurse Chapel obviously doesn't know what's going on. She's also not attracted to light yet. As the episode progresses, Spock and Pike are inside the building, and they're looking at Spock is looking at data. Pike tries to contact the Enterprise, but is cut off when he finds out that the crew is sick. So he knows they're sick, but he can't do anything because he's on the planet. The episode pretty much progresses with people getting sicker and sicker. It becomes contagious. They discover that the dark might be one of the only things that can help. They discover that Uhura was in a room with two people who were infected, and she was asleep in her cabin with the door closed. The only difference between her and the other two crew members is she was locked away in pitch black, so she didn't get infected straight away. The other crew members are standing there worshipping the sun. So they come on. They know this theory now that, okay, so the dark hurts it, but the light works it. Oh, they try and work out what to do. Pike and Spock are on the planet. Pike is walking up and down. He doesn't like not being able to do things. Spock is reading the history of the Illyrians and finding out that they were trying to take away their own genetic modifications. Genetic modification or genetic engineering is big in this show. In this episode, we find out that La'an is related to Khan Noonien Singh, but she isn't actually genetically engineered, which is what I thought. I was like, oh, it's a bit odd. And we also find out that the Illyrians wanted to join the Federation, and to do that, they were willing to get rid of those genetic benefits. Back on the Enterprise, we have stuff going on. Hema tries to beam a part of the mantle of the planet onto the ship so he can just get the light and the heat and the energy from it. And Una manages to kick his ass. And that's when I went, she picks up Hema and throws him over her shoulder, like a rag doll. And I'm going, that's a bit weird. I'm going, surely, like, she's human. I'm pretty sure she's human. And that's when it leads into, she goes to Dr. Mbanga and Christine Chapel, and she tells them, no, I'm Illyrian, and I did have it, so maybe you can get a cure from me. Basically, we're told that because it cured her so quickly, there was no antibodies to make a cure. Her being Illyrian is illegal because obviously in the Federation, being genetically engineered is very, very illegal. And you cannot serve in Starfleet and be genetically engineered because of the eugenics wars back in the late 20th, early 21st century. Whenever it is, because they've changed it a little bit. Then La'an overhears that she's Illyrian and she's infected with the virus. She disappears to engineering. She tries to set up a warp core, which will release the light throughout the ship. And Una, or number one, goes to engineering and stops her and literally just beats her around. And then she goes, then she says, I'm your friend, I can help you. And Laan, who has voiced her distaste for genetically engineered people because she was picked on as a child for being related to Khan Noonien and Sung, just goes, no, I hate you. You're horrible. And you can see it hurts Una, and Una punches her out and then starts to glow and starts to explode. And then we cut and we go down the planet. Skies have cleared. The electric beings, well, on the planet, Pike and Spock have electric sort of beings coming from the planet. These are the ghosts, electric beings coming from the planet, and they sort of protect them when the window shutters from the ion storm, and they're sort of locked inside. And then once they get inside, they don't do anything. And we suddenly realize, oh, maybe then they're actually protecting them. And Spock reads more of the history and finds out that when the virus happened, as the colonists disappeared, these energy beings appeared. And we then cut back to the ship, and we find out that Una has some way of genetically curing herself, because she got a dose of the ship's warp energy, which reinfected her, and she could cure herself and Laan. So, and in that time managed to come up with a cure, Nurse Chapel did, and she managed to cure everyone. That's when, once she's cured, they beam up Pike and Spock again, and Pike and, obviously they're informed. We find out that there was a transporter problem on one of the devices that removes any foreign bacteria or foreign issues from your body had been switched off mysteriously. And so Una's sent to investigate that. But first she needs to tell Pike that she is an Illyrian. And she does this. And Pike goes, basically, look, you saved the ship. I'm not going to let you resign. I'm not going to let you get thrown out. I'll protect you. And Una feels sort of taken aback by it, because there's a connection between those two. We find out that M'Benga has actually been storing his terminally ill daughter within the transporter buffer, and that is why that's why they couldn't have these systems operational. And he basically says, look, I can't let this happen again. I want to let her die. And Una goes, no, we'll give her her own energy source and we'll keep her there. And then she says, I'd like to meet your daughter one day. M'Benga is devastated. Then Una goes back to her quarters and she gives a talk about how she's Illyrian and she just wants to be herself, but she can't be herself because obviously she's outlawed within Starfleet. M'Benga starts reading to his daughter, who he pulls out of the transporter occasionally so she doesn't get the signal degradation, like Scotty back in TNG episode Relics. And Una basically she's sort of going, I've told people I've been myself, but then at the same time I can't be myself. Which is her character, pretty much. And then M'Benga reads a story to his daughter, and the ship goes flying off, and you see the thing in the iron storm in the distance moving away from the planet. So what do I think of this episode? First off, it's a very common story. It's happened in pretty much every Star Trek series that we've had with a virus. Usually they get naked and have a lot of sex, but this time they just like a little light. Which, if you're having sex, you might not want, if you're me anyway. And I don't know, I really like the characterizations. M'Benga, I felt for him when he talked about his daughter. Una, I felt for her. Laan, Pike, Spock, I love the characters, but the story was very meh. Like, we find out the Illyrians wanted to join Starfleet, so it's an interesting, like they're talking about the eugenics wars and genetic engineering, and you sort of go, oh, this is interesting. I'm enjoying the look at this. At the same time, you're going, this is being done. It's nothing super duper special, and I think that's what sort of disappoints me with. And it's been the same with the first two episodes. They're really good at characterization, but the stories themselves aren't anything new. And Una, very much like Rebecca Romaine, is amazing. Anson Mount is, Ethan Peck is. Every one of those actors or actresses is really good. The guy who plays Hemmer, he's got this gruffness. He reminds me of Miles O'Brien, and I really enjoy him as an actor. The visual effects are brilliant. And that's the one thing. The show looks amazing. It looks like updated Star Trek. the stories don't feel updated. They don't feel new. And I think that's what I think, because Discovery, for all its faults, Discovery was new. It was different. It was like TNG to TOS. It was that all over again. And then all of a sudden, we've gone back to this sort of this is what we did, and we just got a bit more money. And it kind of, and I know a lot of fans are really enjoying it, and I am enjoying it. I'm waiting for that episode where I go, oh, this is really good. And we haven't got that yet. I certainly think the cast is great. I have no problem with the cast. Even the Ortega's character, which just seems to pop in for like one scene and then disappear. I'm glad that Nurse Chapel was a bit calmer this episode. Dr. M'Benga was really good. I enjoyed having him there. And Rebecca Romaine, I think Rebecca Romaine is my favorite, mainly because I really enjoyed the old X-Men films, and also because she has a stoicness about her, which I think that Majel Barrett had when she originally played number one in the Cage pilot. A stoicness and a strength. And then when she's lifting hammer, she literally has the strength. I feel that the series needs something. There's something missing. Like, it doesn't quite hit all the notes properly. And I don't know whether it's... with Discovery, I get invested in aspects of the story. With Picard, I got invested in aspects of the story. They both have troubles with their writing. But Strange New Worlds, there's no real trouble with it. It's just the same. It's nothing special. And I think that's what it is. I mean, look, it's the first season. It's literally 3 episodes in. I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to keep watching it. I'm still enjoying it. It's really, really good. So, do you know what? I would give it probably a 6 out of 10, because it's a little bit above average, because as I said, I enjoyed the characters, but the story was kind of bland. What did you think about it? Leave a comment, leave a like, and maybe consider subscribing. I'd be very, very grateful for that. And make sure to come back every week for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Prodigy is up Tuesday next week. I'll be doing the first episode. And I will also have my random topic episode that comes out on the Sunday. So make sure to come back and check out all of those. And I'll be back next week when we look at episode 4.